Okay, I'm back as promised. Hello guys. So I saw this little idea on Pinterest, and it's one of those where when you're flipping through Pinterest and you click on it to see how they did it, and it's just the picture. It didn't give you any description. So I thought I would just try my hand at it, see what happens. And so again, I'm going to use that same plaster that I used yesterday on the egg that I did. And I'm going to go ahead. Do I have a stir? I've got a stir. I'm going to go ahead and add some paint, more paint to this, because I don't want to have to go back and wax it and paint it and all that. So this mixture is, if you fill a bowl about this size, this is about a Cool Whip size bowl, maybe a little bit smaller, but if you fill it up to about here with joint compound, drywall compound, fill it up, and then, thanks Jackie, fill your bowl up with drywall compound, add 1 squirt from your caulking gun, that ought to be just about right. And then add your paint, or just leave it white and add a couple of drops of water, just maybe a little less than a tablespoon of water, and stir it up real good. So I'm going to let me grab a stir stick here. I should have had that together. And let me just stir this down. But that's pretty much the recipe, give or take, give or take. Like when you go to spread it, if it's a little bit stringy, you put in too much caulking for how much joint compound you have, add more joint compound, or add a little bit of water or a little bit of paint. If it's just kind of running and sagging, okay, if you're doing it on a vertical, like you want to do it on your wall, it's sagging, then you need to add more joint compound because you got too much water. So yeah, it's a really forgiving recipe. I've talked about it in the last couple of videos. It's a mix that I make and have been making for years and years and years, long time, and I'm not kidding. A good 20 years when we do texture on walls. So okay, so that's what I'm using. Hi again, everybody. Hi again, you guys. And then I found this while antique shopping. It was $5, but it was what I was looking for. I told Julie I didn't want anything shiny, but what I was looking for was like a branch with some birds on it, or something kind of everyday. Maybe a girl. We did see a girl with a basket, but I think she was too much money is why we didn't get her. I don't know, but when I saw this, she wasn't with it. She was doing something else, but this was exactly what I was looking for, was something that just wasn't super shiny. And, after I got it, and we were talking about it, she's like, well, couldn't you just prime it? Yeah, you could. But I don't know. I don't want to lose too much of the brown of it. So I'm a little bit nervous because I've never done this before. So should be something, I should have done this in my group, because usually I do stuff like this in there. But you guys had me all excited today. So, all right, so I'm dipping just an old ratty chip brush. I never throw my chip brushes away. Esmeralda, yeah, you can just catch the replay. I'll tell you real quick. Fill your bowl up to about here so that you have room to stir it. Add some caulking. I added a squirt of caulking, 1 squirt. And I made this like 2 years ago when I was the Mrs. Claus in the Sparkle Room. This is still the same container. If you watch that video, go to YouTube, type in Mrs. Claus, and this is the same exact, you'll see it. This is the same container. I've used this much of it in 2 years. This is just my craft batch. But I just added some paint, so it's going to be a little extra creamy. You can add paint to it as well, but if it gets, yeah, you might want to catch the replay on that. Hey, what do you say, Shelly? Hello. Hey, Judy. Hey, Rhonda. Yeah, I kind of talked about a little more at length, so in the last couple of videos too. So we'll keep on going here. So I'm just taking this plaster compound, and I am going to just dab it on here. Okay, just dabbing it on. That's too much. See, I didn't blot it off. Okay, well, right in the front too, right where okay. So we're gonna keep going. Like I said, I may not like it. It's just an idea. And I don't know how the lady did it, but this is my take on what I saw. And I'm just jabbing at it with my plaster. So when we're all out buying all of those ceramic things that we just used to walk past, the world's gonna say, what's happening? And they'll go from $5 to $25, right? Because the salespeople will get all the wiser. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is make it more, of course, it's all my colors already. I wish it was uglier than what it was to start with, but it is what I was looking for. So again, I'm going for it. I'm basically just covering it, but not covering it. You know, I'm not like slopping it on. Oh, thanks, Esmeralda. I hope so. I got to get over how pretty it was to start with. You're probably all cringing. And like I said, I think if it weren't for the caulking in the mix, you probably, while it's wet, you could definitely get this off. So if we hate it, I can get it off. But if we love it, I can add more. So this brush is really working out great. It's a 1-inch chip brush. And a chip brush is just that's just a term. Like if you go to a store and you're looking for this particular type of brush, just tell the clerk you're looking for chip brushes and she'll know exactly what to show you, or they'll know what to show you. But I thought it was really cool because it looked like she had made a plaster shape and kind of waxed. I might have to do the same thing and wax it out because it might be too white. But I love the little bit of the brown showing through. I really want that texture on the edge, on that smooth edge as well. I'm trying to get rid of everything greens and brown, like trying to get rid of it, but yet leave it peeking through a little bit. So I want it to look like an old plaster bunny. So see where we're getting? I think it's gonna be good. Are you guys all sad that I did that? Tell the truth. I can't believe I'm not seeing any mad faces. If anything was gonna pull up a mad face, I would think it would be this one. Get your behind there. That's awkward. Okay. Hi, Betty. Hi, you guys. I hope you were all here from the last video. I was just on a little bit ago finishing my egg from the CCC Tammy's group from yesterday. This plaster was too wet to do anything with, so I finished it out today. So if you missed that video, look back because I did these two back to back. I just did it so that it's easier to search. Like in a couple years from now, when you find something plaster or not plaster, but something ceramic that you're like, oh, remember what Tammy did? You can go to YouTube and type in ceramic plaster or whatever, and you'll find it. That's why I wanted to do a separate video rather than doing it all. Let's see, okay, I got too much there. Get some back off. So I just kind of want to build it up little by little here. I think I'm going to call it done until it dries. Now once it dries, I think I'm going to use my artist brush to get down in that little crevice. See, I can see the dark in the video. Yeah, I need to get in there. I'm going to use this artist brush. It'll come clean, you guys. This is a nice one too. Don't worry. Don't worry about your good brushes. This stuff washes out just fine. Okay. All right. So had you not seen how pretty it was to start with, I know it makes me kind of, I know what you're thinking before you say it. And if I've seen mad faces, if there's been mad faces, I missed them, and maybe that's for the better. So, okay. So here we are. So then I didn't think about it, but I'm gonna have to let it dry. I don't know if I can dry it down. Let me see. Let me see how, it does dry pretty quick, but with the caulking in it, that's what's gonna hold it up. Got you thinking? Okay. Premix, yeah, some mortar. I would use white mortar mix if it were me, but yeah, if you want it to be gray, and you did it on styrofoam, and yes, Jackie, of course, you're ahead of me. So I wouldn't use concrete because I would think there would be too much gravel in it. Was there? Tell me if I'm right. Mortar mix, you can get it in gray or you can get it in white. It's very, very easy to work with. It does kind of the same thing. It's just that you have to buy such a big batch. Oh, you bought pre-mixed. Okay, and I've never done that before. I've always bought the bag and mixed my own. We did plaster pumpkins before, and I did concrete. Oh, when you do the bricks, you know, when you plaster the bricks and make them look like broken out old bricks. We've done that on walls, so I've had leftover. That's why I got the white, and so I've just always used the white because that's the only, you know, that's why I get the white. But when I do the pumpkin pours with the orange plastic and pour the concrete, if you've never seen it, you guys, go to YouTube, type in concrete, go to Tammy Loves Vintage, type in concrete, and you'll see me doing some pumpkins. I couldn't record doing it with Julie. It was just such a mess, but we did a really good review of it and we tried to explain it as best as we could and give you the recipes and all the things. But now it's time to be looking for your fall and your pumpkins and all that. I just got an order in from Factory Direct Decor for pumpkins a couple of days ago. I got some gourds and some pumpkins, and I kind of, just because we were like, where are we going to go after Easter? What are we going to do? And that was my thinking was, well, I'm going to play around with a little bit of this fall stuff so that I don't, you know, miss it. So, okay, what I saw was there are places here, like inside that tree, I kept hitting it and it was lifting off. So I wanted, sometimes if you play too much with it, it'll lift and you need to dry it down and then you can add some more. So I still see that green on that. I don't like that. And I don't think I dried that side very well. It's working to dry it. I don't know if it's working enough to sand it down and wax it, but it's working. So it's such a cool, see how I just neutralized the whole thing? So, oh, thanks, Esmeralda. Oh my gosh, thank you for the stars. She likes it. She likes it. Thanks, honey. Yeah, because she has don't you have the garden center? So yeah, oh my gosh. I'm thinking she has Levitt's Garden. I'm pretty sure that's you. And yeah, so you could take things like this. I haven't done anything. You watched, oh good, you remember that. Yes, it's hard to find the plastic pumpkins. Walmart had them one year a little bit early and I nabbed them. And we made them. So, yeah. Now last year I made a couple because I couldn't find them the year I wanted to. The year I did the videos, I couldn't find what I wanted, but last year I did, and Julie wasn't able to get with me, so I just made them all myself. I don't think I did a video on it because it was just me. Yeah, that's you. Okay. Yes, I see what you're thinking, girl. Oh my gosh, you could really make some really unusual things with this idea. Good for you. I'm glad you were here. Okay, so now I'm just kind of covering up a little bit more of that color. I wanted it, but I don't want too much. You know, I was going gentle. I was afraid. I was nervous, a little nervous. Now that I'm a pro, I'm going in, going all the way. So I'm just going to build it up wherever I'm seeing color. Not that I mind the color, it's just kind of wanted it to look plaster-ish. It's already got like all of the texture in the world. Looking good. For Woods and Whites decor, this is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Yeah. Okay, yep. That's what I thought. Lovett's Garden. She's been making really cool looking, and I haven't seen it in person, but I've seen them, is it on burlap, Esmeralda? You're printing labels. I don't think I've printed anything on burlap yet, just on muslin fabric. And I think you're selling them too, right? You have a link for that you want to put in? You know how to do that? You're welcome to. You need to put it in, like on Fridays when I show us what you're making. A lot of people have sold stuff from my Show Us What You're Making on Fridays. Anywhere I'm seeing dark paint that might have been hard to get to, I'm filling it in here. So there we go. Now you're all like, okay, what's she gonna do next? Well, I don't know. Oh, you like it. Yay. Okay. He was so cute to start with though, darn it. That's why I'm still like, did I make him better or worse? Because he was good. But darn it, this is exactly what I wanted. I just wish he wasn't so cute to start with. Oh, okay. Down in there. It's drying really quick though. Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, I've seen some people doing some stuff with it. I can't say that I would have a plan off the top of my head, like, you know, Lovett's Garden, there it is. She has a Facebook page, I follow her, and yeah, she has some really pretty displays. I bet you might be seeing some of this plaster work in there now. But sometimes it's the color that throws me. So you can see if I would have primed the whole thing white to begin with, I don't think, I think you would have lost some of that dimension that you can see just little bits of the brown there on his nose and on his back. And, you know, I tried to get rid of all of the, oh, there's this little pocket. I'm not thrilled with that. But I just didn't want to see green like here on the flowers. So you guys, I don't do a whole lot of drying things, but I don't have much choice on this one. I see everybody else do it, so it's okay. I don't know why it bothers me on my page. I can sit and watch someone dry something all day long, listen to them talk, I don't care. And then I get all funny when it's mine. Let me see if I can do this with two hands. I got just a little bit of green grass showing here I don't want. Okay. You kind of have to dry. It's kind of hard to do these things. You can't dry it out. Now, I'm not sure because of the caulking. The drywall compound is totally going to set up and dry with this heat. We use dryers all the time on our jobs. If we're trying to dry a spackle spot on the wall where we have a nail hole or something like that, we'll dry it. If everything else is done and we're just waiting on that to dry, we'll stand there and dry it, and it does dry out. But the caulking is another story. So it's still, even though it's dry, I can touch it. I'm just not sure it's sandable. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to be drying all day. So you know what? I think I'm just going to do this and do just like I did with the egg and come back at it. And what I'll do, in case you missed my comeback, is I think I'm just going to I think I'm just going to just scuff sand it a little bit, just to take anything sharp off, which actually rubbing it when it's kind of wet is doing the trick. There's really nothing sharp on it, but I'll still do it just because I always do that. And then I think we might wax it out and see what happens. But there we go. There we've got a plastered, whoops, I keep saying that word. Taking it to a new level. You don't mind the dryer. Thank you. So yeah, but it's dry. I mean, I can touch it, you see. I can touch it. I'm not, well, I mean, obviously, but I'm not getting anything off in my hand, but it's still soft to touch, if that makes sense. I mean, I can try it, but I just got a feeling when I'm digging at it, there's not a whole lot I can get to sand. Let's just keep going, because I can rub my hands all over it. I just don't want anyone to pick it up and get anything sharp. I'm getting a little bit off. And let me just kind of press it in there, kind of sanding it with my fingers, really. Yeah, because there's a wet spot. There's a little loop I don't like. So just to push it for the video, I think I would wait and sand it out if I were you guys. After it was good and dry, there's another I missed underneath here. And I don't think I would paint it on. I don't think I would brush it on, or you're gonna have those brush marks. And I don't think that's what you want. I think you kind of want it to have a rough plaster look. Although, if you want to try it, try it. Try painting it on. Hi again, Pam. Try painting it on. See what you think. I mean, you might be better. I don't know. So let's see what happens. I've already got my brushes dirty. Let's just go for it. So I've got my not white wax. I have just natural wax here. I'm going to see what happens. If it starts breaking down and moving, I'm going to stop. But no, I'm okay. So I'm going to white or clear. Gosh, it's called natural wax is what I'm using. Any wax, whatever wax you guys like. Wax is wax is wax. I know everybody has their favorites and all that. But to me, wax is wax. Oh, yeah. So, okay. So what's happening to me is it's kind of chipping off, see, a little bit. But let's just for you guys' sake, I'll go ahead and keep going because I can always go back and add that stuff, add more. I think, you know what? I think I'm going to leave it. What did I do with my paint pen? Here it is. Leave it heavily waxed. I'm not going to wipe it off yet. And I'm going to get rid of this. This is my antiquing wax. I dipped into the antiquing wax. Okay. And then let's just see. I'm afraid I can't scratch it in there like I need to. And I'm not going to be able to rub it off like I need to. But I'll show you there's one little spot. See that? So that's how you're going to give it its dimension. But I'm really pushing it here because of the caulking in the mix. Oops, and then I just got my brush in the paint, so I'm done. But that gives you the idea right there. So what you want to do is take your or glaze. Maybe glaze would be better after you've waxed it. I might have some glaze right here. Hang on a minute. Sorry. Hang on a minute. Let me see. I do. I have glaze right here. Now, let me see. Oh man, okay. So I have my Country Chic glaze. I'm just gonna work right out of the lid. I've had it upside down. Okay, I'm gonna try glaze instead of wax. It's basically the same thing. Wax is just transparent. Oh, I need a brush. Wax is a transparent thing. Let me see what brush I need. What do I want to try? I want a little one. Okay, so glaze is, and any glaze, doesn't matter. I'm using Chalk Couture, I'm using Country Chic. I do Chalk Couture too, so C. Country Chic and Chalk Couture, I always get them confused. Smoky Quartz, Country Chic, Smoky Quartz glaze. Let's see what happens if I do that. So I put it on my brush, I got it off of my brush. Let's see what happens with that. I think let me see. Okay, so I waxed it first. I put my glaze on. And then, oh yeah, it's much softer. So there, and then I've wiped my glaze off. I like the glaze better for this instance. So not dipping back into the glaze. I'm gonna dip right into the glaze on my pan. Still able to do up the tree. There's something about having it on top as opposed to underneath. Meaning, he was already brown to start with, now I'm brown. I was like, I need to cover all that brown. It's a different look. It's just different coming from the top as it was from coming from the bottom. You glazed some bunnies. Yeah, I like the glaze. The glaze is almost easier to work with, but it's different. You know, there's just, someone asked me that before. I sold all of mine from the shop, all my glaze and stuff to the girls in my group, and they're like, you're going to show us the difference in all of this stuff, but there's definitely a difference in the two. So, but if it were drier, I'm going to dip again. So this is the second time I've dipped in after almost done the whole thing. I really wish I could get in the cracks and crevices with this so that it lingers where I want it to and not so much as a dirtying it up, kind of dirtying it. So let me show you what I got. So, and I'm wiping off some of it. So it just depends on the look that you want it to have, how you want it to be. And again, I kind of liked it how it was. So I know some of you are probably like, she should have left it alone. I get it. I see what you're saying, but I do like it at the same time. I like it. It's just a whole different look. Okay. So there we go. Now, here's the thing. Let's say that you've done this. So yeah, I'm totally wiping off a lot of the plaster and it's almost sanding it. It's almost softening it and sanding it. Kind of reactivated it with all this wet stuff. But it really is aging it nicely. Pushing it down in where I want it to go. Like, look at the back. Look how good that looks. Might not look good to you, but but I gotta make sure how much of it am I getting back to the old brown and how much of it is the new. I think the front is all the new for sure, but the back is, I'm getting down now to where it might be some of the old coming back. Let's see what happens if I just stamp a little bit more over it to push the dark behind. Not much, just a little bit. When you're when we do faux finish, sometimes the layering is the key. You know, I'll come in back years ago, a do-it-yourself person would try a sponge paint or something like that, and it would be like hideous looking. And so she would take a picture of it, and then she'd paint over it, call us, we'd go in, and our first round would look just like her first round, you know? It's the layers that make it, well, we haven't sponge painted in years and years and years, but back in the day, before the rag roll and all the other, all the Venetian plasters and all that stuff came up, everyone sponge painted. You probably all sponge painted yourself. So here's where we are. I'm probably just gonna call it for now because I'm just wet on wet on wet, and I could dry this down, but I think if I go drying it too much, I'm gonna melt my wax and I'm gonna have a mess. So I think, yeah, see, I'm kind of just getting too wet. But you totally get it, right? You totally get it. So when you run across a Hummel in a yard sale or something like, that's the type of finish that I used here. So I just felt like it would have a really good grab. I think if you bought like one of those, like what comes to my mind is the little dresser dolls that were super shiny glass that was like the number 11, or your mom would get them for you every year when you were a little kid, and the 11 would be sparkly and the girl would be pink dress or something. Like, you could totally do something like that, but I think you would have to prime the whole thing out myself, or use the slick stick from, I think it's Dixie Belle. Have you ever went to Metropolis? No, I haven't. No, I don't know where that is. Sounds like I need to. Thank you guys. Thank you. I just thought I really wanted to try, and I love it. Right now in my mind I have what it was, so I'm having, just to be honest, I'm having a little trouble. But if I were to walk in and see it done, I would be like, oh my gosh, how did they do that? So that's where my brain is. I'm still stuck on how cute it was before I started, and I knew I would do that. But it really is a cool look. It really is. And I think if you used a little bit of gray in your mix, it would totally look like concrete, Esmeralda. But yeah, and like this one has a little stamp on the bottom. I'm not going to mess with it, but I honestly think because it wasn't primed out, I think if I put it in water, I could get this all off and take it back to what it was if it was baked properly and the color was really adhered to the piece. You could totally seal it if you wanted to seal it with any sealer, doesn't matter. Whatever you like, but I'm not going to. I like, and I have some matte sealer, but I'm just leaving it. It's soft now with the wax. It's kind of been, it's kind of acted as its own sealer. It's got just a slight shine. I'm sure you can't tell, but it's got just a slight shine from the wax. And I'm just good. I'm good with it. I'm not going to do a thing, except I don't like that big, I got a couple of brown dots on her back. I'm not crazy for, or his back, whatever. There you go. Just want to break that up a little bit. There. And that's it. So she's done, and I'm glad you guys got to see it. So if you're out and about shopping and you find a little piece of ceramic like that and you want to give it a whirl, refer back and see how to make the sauce, the plaster. I keep saying that word. I'm afraid they're going to send me off of here. My text company sure didn't like me saying that. So anyway, the Home of Superman. Yes, lots of vintage. Okay, yes, you've told me that before about Metropolis. And of course, yes. No, I've never been. Lots of antiques. Yeah, that's the one thing about moving where my daughter lives. They don't have antiques in Arizona. It's not that old of a place. You know, they don't have the history and the buildings and all the architecture that the older cities have, you know. So anyway, by the way, friends, she messaged me the other day and she's thinking about coming here for the summer with the baby because it's so hot out there. She lives just south of Scottsdale at a little newer town called Queen Creek. And anyway, she's thinking about coming home, her and her husband and the dogs, for the summer months. So we are just tickled, and I hate to throw it out in case it doesn't happen, but we're just holding hope really close to our hearts that would work out. That would be fun for us to get to have some time together. So anyway, you guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. I said 6 o'clock. It's going to take me a bit to get prices and numbers on stuff. Yeah, I'm going to shoot for 6. Could be 6:30-ish, depending on that and Randy's dinner. So be watching. I will text you 740-273-6693. I'll say that one more time. So if you're not texting me and getting text messages when I'm going live, text me or get your pencil and paper. I'll tell you. Yeah, Susie, I will. I'll tell him I want to do at least a little sale. We'll at least do a little bit. So ready? Are you ready? Did you get your pencil and paper? Okay, it's 740-273-6693. And I'm going to put my paint back in my jar because I didn't use near the paint I thought I was going to use. 740-273-6693. Just text me, just say hi. Whatever you want to say. The little baby cat. I know, that's the thing. I'm going out to see her the end of April for a couple of weeks, and then it sounds like they might turn around and come home. So that'll be fun. That'll be super fun for all of us. We won't want to see him go back. So anyway, you guys, have a great day. Thanks for spending so much time with me today. I'm not always on here, so it's kind of cool to visit with you. So I will see you later tonight. Hopefully you'll all come. I have these Easter things that I've been showing you. I have a little bit of greenery. I have some glass doorknobs with the ferns in them. I have some linens, some embroidered linens. I believe there's some doilies left from the sale in the group. If you were late with your pencil, 740-273-6693. We'll see. There's just it's just hard to think of everything. My dining room table is full, and I have some things that were left on the kitchen table. So we'll see what how far he'll let me go, how deep he'll let me dive. I like to do it when he's out of town, but he'll be fine. He'll be fine. So you guys have a great day. I'll see you in a little while. Give me a couple hours. All right. Bye-bye.